As I started to cut this, it just seemed like it wasn't gonna come out correctly because it's supposed to be 5/8 of an inch below here. It's supposed to be 18 degrees, not 8 degrees. That's a bummer. Well, you know, measure twice, cut once. So I'll have to do another 2x4. Continuing on with the floor, I'm gonna do the end caps here and then one on the other end. And I'm gonna have the plywood go over top of them since I bought the 5-foot plywood. And I have to just kind of pay attention and maybe make a small modification to where my receiver comes into here. This is exactly 3/4 of an inch. I didn't plan for that. Didn't look ahead, didn't think about it. I thought there would be enough room. First things first, I gotta cut down 2 2x4s to 59 7/8, and I will do that on my chop saw. Now I'm going to use my table saw to rip these down. These need to be at 3 inches wide, and then I also have to do an angle too. All right, so actually, I only had to rip one of those down to 3 inches. The other one has to be a little bit different. Let me just show you I'm gonna do that. It's fine, I just have to do 2 cuts instead of 1, but not a big deal. So what I have to do is angle this blade out to be at 43 degrees. Now I have a tool to do that, and then I'll set this fence to 1 7/16, and I'll need a different table saw insert. This is a 0 clearance. Oopsie. We're gonna have to go up pretty high. Let's see if I can remember how to do this. I have this angle measuring tool that tells me the angle based on how this is moved. 43 degrees. It can be really nice and precise. Oops. So we're at 43.1. So I'm just gonna get it close to eye. I'm looking at it through this way here. You can see there's no gap in between there. Now the next thing we do is double check the measurement. I think it's 1 7/16. So we'll have 1 7/16 from the inside of this blade. So right here is where we want to be. Down to the bottom. So I'm gonna actually tilt this to the side. We're definitely off, so we're gonna go out to 7/16 here. I'm gonna go just a hair bigger because I can always shave it down. All right, let's see what this looks like. So we should have 1 7/16 right here. That looks right on where I need to be. And then our angle should be 43. 43, it's like between 43.7, 43.4. And this will sit right here just like that. I think that should work out well. All right, now we got to do this one. All right, for this one, it's a little bit more challenging. We have to put the table saw at 18 degrees and cut this on the short end. I also neglected to mention I have an angle meter on the side of my table saw here. So I start here, that's 15 degrees, if you can read it. So 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. That should be close. Let's see what that gets us to. All right, right there is showing right at 82. I can get close enough for you. 82 degrees. So we're gonna go with that and we'll see what that looks like after we cut it. So this needs to be at 3/4 of an inch to here. So that would be right here. This one I'm gonna have to do a couple of cuts. This is pretty deep, so we'll start here. Oh, it's supposed to be 18 degrees. Well, I'll have to get another 2x4. As I started to cut this, it just seemed like it wasn't gonna come out correctly because it's supposed to be 5/8 of an inch below here. And it's not 8 degrees, it's 18 degrees. Let me just double check that again. So I'll have to do get another 2x4. Yeah, it's supposed to be 18 degrees, not 8 degrees. So this one will have to be used for something different and I'll have to get another 2x4. That's a bummer. Yeah, well, you know, measure twice, cut once. I always do that. I thought I had the right measurement, but I didn't this time. All right, so we're gonna do this again. I got 2 more 2x4s by 8s in case I messed up this one again. So we're gonna cut this one at 59 7/8, rip it on the table saw at 3 inches, and then angle this to 18 degrees and get that last cut. Let's go. All right, to recalibrate my saw to be at 90, I get it close by getting this right to 0, and then I use a square and make sure that this is nice and flush, and that looks nice. All right, now we got that ripped. I'm gonna set my table saw blade to 18 degrees, not 8, 18. And we'll give that a rip. So I'm gonna start 16, 17, 18. 108, maybe a little bit more. That's 90 degrees plus 18. 108. Well, I did put this too close because this has a little bit of an overhang to it, but I think I'll be able to resolve it here. So what I'm gonna do is make the width of this rear trim piece, or this rear structural piece, be about 1/4 of an inch shorter. That way I can attach it to this and it'll fit right on top of this receiver here. I had a small issue. This plywood lip right here on the bottom is coming out a little bit from this wood here, and I need that wood to attach this to. So I'm gonna zip this through with a belt sander. All right, that looks good. Right along the edge. Nothing protruding through, so let's see if we can get this on again. Alright, that looks much better. I'll have to adjust this side, but I want to get a couple of screws in because it's a little bit, this 2x4 is just a little bit warped. Well, that's the back piece, the overhang. I think that looks pretty good. I've got it running nice and straight. The other side's a little bit over. The board was just a little bit warped. All right, starting to get dark. Lights are coming on outside, so I'm gonna put this last piece on and call it good. I got everything marked out. I'm just gonna throw some sealant on the back, some adhesive on the back. I've got this front board on now too, and that one sits really nice and flush. This will end up clamping down, and the teardrop will take the shape starting from here, all the way up and around. Once we get everything squared in, it's going to be a little bit higher than the frame, but I think that's going to be okay. The side of the camper is going to adjust for that. And actually this frame is a hair warped too, so this is probably going to be up a little bit off of the frame. So it's coming along.